Today is Wednesday, April 25th, Jupiter, Florida, and we're here today to test the drying capabilities of Turface All-Sport Pro, used by different baseball leagues, and also a newer product, Spill King Absorbent. The idea today is to understand how much volume of Turface All-Sport Pro versus Spill King is required to absorb a prescribed amount of water. We'll start today by pouring 1 cup of water into a container and then add the appropriate product, first from Turface and then from Spill King, to determine how much of the product was required to dry the water, and then we will measure the amount of product and how much it weighs after absorbing the water. We will start by pouring 1 measuring cup of water into this contained cooler. We'll now add 1 cup of the Turface All-Sport Pro using the same measuring cup. And you can see that that will not be enough to dry the water. So we'll start adding more Turface, a 1/4 cup at a time. After adding 5 additional 1/4 cup scoops, the Turface has effectively removed the water, and then now the water is mixed with the Turface. The Turface All-Sport Pro weighs approximately on the scale 20 ounces, just a little bit over 20 ounces after subtracting the 1 ounce weight of the cardboard that it is sitting on. So approximately 20 ounces of product, and I'll get the volume on this later, is remaining after drying 1 cup of water. Now we will test the Spill King Absorbent by pouring 1 cup of water into the same cooler. We will add 1 cup of Spill King Absorbent to start, and then we will add 1/4 cups as necessary to dry the water. It only required 2 additional 1/4 cup scoops to use Spill King, so a total of 1.5 cups of Spill King to dry a cup of water. And it required 2 1/4 total cups of Turface. When I weigh the Spill King, even with the water absorbed, it only weighs, subtracting the 1 ounce for the cardboard, it only weighs just under 9 ounces. So 20 ounces for the Turface, inclusive of the water, and just under 9 ounces for the Spill King, including the water. So even with the water, the Turface weighs more than 2 times the Spill King, with the same amount of water absorbed into each. And in terms of product usage, 2 1/4 cups of Turface versus 1.5 cups of Spill King to absorb the same amount of 1 cup of water, which formed approximately 1 inch deep in the container that we used, which would closely approximate the total depth of the water that they would ever absorb on the field, and probably even a lower depth on the field. In terms of volume of product after absorbing the water, I don't know if you can see, but the Turface is in a 4-cup measuring cup, and it rises to somewhere between 2.5 and 3 cups. So we'll call it 2 3/4 total volume of the product with the water. And then when you measure the volume of the Spill King with the water, it is between the 1 and 1.5 cup line. We'll call it 1 1/4 cups of volume. And then you also notice that the water on the cardboard is much less on the Spill King side than if we look over to the Turface side. The water is filling a much greater portion of the cardboard, which suggests that the Turface has not absorbed the water. Even though we've claimed that it is drying the field, it has not absorbed the water in the same way that the Spill King has. As much less of the water is on the cardboard for the Spill King. And lastly, the Spill King compaction and stability is much greater than that of the Turface. So when you add the Spill King to the field, you're going to have less of it, and you're going to have far less impact to the playing surface, which is important at pitcher's mound, certainly around first and third base, and around the batter's box. And with the Turface, you're going to have a lot less stability, and you're going to need a lot more of it to dry the same amount of water, and could potentially create a playing surface that is not as stable, or will create a playing surface that's not as stable as the Spill King. So in summary, the Turface required 2 1/4 cups to dry a cup of water versus Spill King 1.5 cups to dry the same amount of water under the same conditions, therefore using 50% more Turface than Spill King. The resulting weight of the product after absorbing the water was 20 ounces for the Turface and 9 ounces for the Spill King, and the resulting volume on the field inclusive of the absorbed water was 2 3/4 cups for the Turface and 1 1/4 cups for the Spill King. So on this test, which seems to be the most relevant to drying an athletic field, the Spill King uses 50% less product, or excuse me, the Turface requires 50% more product than the Spill King, and has more than double the weight and more than double the volume on the field. And the Spill King is a much more compact and stable additive to the field, whereas the Turface is less stable and less compact. Thank you.